Hello everyone, today we're going to read Spot's Windy Day and Other Stories by Eric Hill, published by Puffin Books. One windy day, Spot went out to fly his kite. "See you later, Mum," he called to Sally. "Don't get blown away, Spot," said Sally. Spot ran up and down the field with his kite, trying to get the wind to lift it up into the air. Suddenly, a strong gust caught the kite. "Oh!" Spot cried. "Look how high it is!" Then, "Oops!" said Spot. How did that happen? His kite had landed in a tree. Spot looked up at it. "I can't reach up there," he said. "That's the end of flying my kite. Oh no!" Spot started to walk home. He was a little sad. Leaves were blowing all around him in the wind. Red, yellow, green and orange ones. "I'll try and catch a leaf," he said. But it was harder than he thought. As soon as one came near, the wind whisked it away again. Spot looked up and saw something big and dark above him. It wasn't a leaf. "Oh!" Spot said, reaching up. "What's that?" It blew here and there. It came lower and lower, and whoosh! It landed right on Spot's head and covered his eyes. Spot couldn't see anything, but he heard a voice say, Well, there's my hat." Spot pulled on the sides of the hat, and someone pulled on the front. Pop! Off came the hat, and Spot found himself looking up at Mr. Kangaroo. "Thank you, Spot. You saved my best Sunday hat." "It was nothing," said Spot. "I wish I could do something for you, Spot," said Mr. Kangaroo. "You can," said Spot. "My kite is stuck up in the tree. Can you reach it?" "Certainly," said Mr. Kangaroo. He jumped up and knocked the kite down to the ground. "Wow!" said Spot. "I'm glad your hat found me." Spot's kite once again soared up in the sky. "Thank you, Mr. Kangaroo," shouted Spot. But Mr. Kangaroo couldn't hear. It was too windy. And that's the end of story time. Spot in the snow. One morning, Spot woke up and got a big surprise. Outside, everything was covered in snow. "Mum, can I go out with my sledge?" Spot asked. "Yes, but put on your hat and scarf," said Sally. "It's very cold outside." "I don't need all that, Mum," said Spot, opening the door. "Ugh, you're right, Mum. It's cold." Spot put on his hat and scarf. By the time Spot had pulled his sledge to the top of the hill, he was feeling warm again. He sat on his sledge and pushed himself off. Whoosh! Down he went to the bottom of the hill. "This is great," he said. Steve was skating on the pond. "Hello, Spot," Steve called out. "Do you want to dry my skates?" Skating looked easy when Steve did it. But Spot found out it wasn't so easy after all. "I think I'll stick with my sledge. Come and ride with me, Steve." They climbed the hill, pulling the sledge together. When they reached the top, they got on the sledge. "Ready, steady, go!" The sledge went much faster with Spot and Steve both on it. "Whee! This is fantastic!" shouted Steve. "Yes!" cried Spot. "Watch out for the ooh!" The sledge hit a big pile of snow and came to a sudden stop. Spot and Steve rolled out into the snow. Then something knocked Spot's hat down over his eyes. "What's that?" Spot asked. They heard giggling, and there was Helen laughing at them all, covered in snow. "It's that snowball," she called. "And here's another." And before he could move, a big squishy snowball hit Steve in the tummy. "Here's one for you," yelled Steve, throwing a snowball back. "And another," shouted Spot. "Hey," said Helen, "2 against 1 isn't fair. Come on and help me build a snowman. Look, I've already started." Helen had rolled a big snowball for the snowman's body. Spot helped her roll another one for his head. "Come and help us, Steve," called Spot. "In a minute," said Steve. "I'm busy." Helen and Spot put the head on the body. They found 2 stones for the snowman's eyes and a piece of wood for his mouth. "Look at our snowman, Steve," called Spot. "And look what I've made," said Steve. Steve had made a snow dog on top of Spot's sledge. It looked a lot like Spot. "That's great," said Spot. "Why did you build it on my sledge?" "So you could take it home, Spot." "Mum will be surprised when 2 Spots come home," said Spot. "It's lucky she told me to wear my hat and scarf. She'll know which one is me." And that's the end of story time. Spot follows his nose. One morning, Spot went out for a walk. He stopped and sniffed. "What smells so nice?" he asked. Spot went to the flowers in the garden. He sniffed. "No, that's not what I can smell," he said. His friend Helen came by on her bike. "Hello, Spot. Why are you sniffing?" "I can smell something really nice," Spot said, "but I don't know what it is." "Mr. Kangaroo has just cut his grass," said Helen. "Maybe that's what you can smell." Spot ran across to Mr. Kangaroo's house. "Hey, Spot!" Mr. Kangaroo shouted. "What are you doing with my pile of grass?" "I was only sniffing at it," said Spot. "But it's not the smell I was looking for." Next door, Tom was painting the fence in front of his house. "I wonder if it's the paint I can smell," said Spot. He went up to the fence and sniffed. "That smells awful." Tom laughed. "You've got paint on your nose." Spot rubbed his nose. "I have to go home now," he told Tom. As Spot went up the path to his house, the smell got stronger. He ran inside. Sally was polishing a table in the hall. Spot jumped up and sniffed at the table. "You've put your dirty paws all over my nice clean table," cried Sally. "I'm sorry, Mum," said Spot. "I've been smelling something nice all morning, but this isn't it." "Why don't you look in the kitchen, Spot?" said Sally. Spot ran to the kitchen. "That's the smell!" he shouted. There on the table was a plate of hot cookies. "I baked these for later," Sally told him. "But you can have one now," she smiled. "There's nothing wrong with your sense of smell, Spot." "No," said Spot. "And there's nothing wrong with my sense of taste either. Thanks for the cookies, Mum." And that's the end of story time. Thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe today to English Lessons Online. Thank you.